Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's video to discuss Lord of the Rings of Power once more. More specifically, Amazon and their really shady dealings. I'm aware there's a big bright light there, soz. But super shady dealings from Amazon today. And it's the fact that they are actually just hiding reviews. Any negative review, they're hiding. Now they're going to say, well, we're going to pause it. We're going to hold that review for 72 hours. Just to make sure that it's not a troll. How are you, by what metric? How are you going to tell that? I mean, it really is quite... I want to say shocking, but you know what? I'm not shocked now. I'm not. Now, this dropped yesterday. I did my review of episode 1 and 2, just combined. And you know what? I think the most egregious comment I can make about this show is just that it was a bit boring. You know, it is boring. And the actor playing Galadriel does a terrible job of portraying that character. She's incredibly unlikable, which I tweeted out. Follow me over on Twitter at MrAgeReviews for spicy takes and general nonsense. But, you know, there's a lot of comments coming through going, yeah, no, I was bored. Like, I'm not a Tolkien fan, I was bored. I am a Tolkien fan, I was bored. A lot of people just feeling the same thing. Now, a lot of this in the mainstream media will be portrayed as haters and trolls, you know, like this, for instance. Well, it's been review bombed. Well, is The Rings of Power getting review bombed because Amazon suspends ratings? Again, no. I would absolutely unequivocally say no, it's not getting review bombed at all. I think, again, by what metric are you judging it to say that it's been review bombed? How do you tell? I'll fix the white light. How do you tell it's been review bombed? Lord of the Rings TV series has only a 37% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, with some complaining about the show's diversity. Amazon halts reviews to prevent trolling. Now, 35% score. Again, a lot of it complaining about the diversity is very specifically, and this is what's really important to, you know, when we take a look at this, right? We're taking a look very specifically at the fact that Tolkien, you know, created this as like a European myth. It was a, you know, we're going to make a, you know, a European myth for modern times or whatever. I can't remember the exact thing, but it doesn't matter. The point is that geographically, it served as a very specific point in history and location. But again, like this kind of stuff, this is not racism. You know, disappointed and sad visuals are impressive. Music is all right. Again, I said this. Yeah, visuals are all right. Music's all right. But those don't make a good story or build character. It's so easy to connect with characters in real Tolkien stories. That is not the case with this one. The characters are mostly either boring or annoying or hollow. They are. Painfully stupid. Music good. Visual cinematography good. Storyline meh. Well, you need to stick to the source material next time. I'm not seeing any massive complaints about diversity here. You know? And again, if the majority... I can just spot pick all of that. Again, I scroll down again. The series does not show the word of Tolkien, but some get a parody of it. Again, this is nothing to do with race. Nothing to do with race. So, to sort of... Well, just to sort of boil it down to that is just petty and pathetic. But we knew, ladies and gents, that they were going to do this. This is what they always do. And they'll always come out with this. It's they swap people out, they change things, they add things. They even go out and say it. They have their actors do the rounds going, yeah, well, you know, if you don't like it, you're racist. And I'm getting loads of racist hate and all of this stuff. Because they've got an inbuilt reason at that point. They can go, it bombed because of racists. I guess the world is just full of them now. Just pathetic. Utter nonsense. Where's a wizard to fight trolls when you need one? Nowhere. Literally nowhere at all. It's got nothing to do with trolls. The mega budget fantasy series Lord of the Rings is under fire from some of its viewers. Under fire? A Hollywood Reporter. How is it under fire? Come on, behave. A day after the first two episodes of Amazon's $1 billion Baby debuted on Prime Video, the show's average audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is a 37%, 35 now, and reviews on Amazon have been outright suspended. Compare that, bearing in mind, remember, Jeff Bezos and Amazon has genuinely come out and said, yeah, like, the future of Amazon Prime as a, a streaming platform depends on this. So we have a massive vested interest in this getting good reviews. So them suspending it's got nothing to do with racism. Compare that score to TV critics, giving the show a fresh 83% average, and many of the reviews were highly enthusiastic. Yes, because they're idiots, and they're shills. We know that. Loads of people, just as an FYI, loads of people have come out and questioned whenever I say, oh, look, shill media exists. And people go like, what? Why? People are not going to sell their soul for, some measly shekels and things like that. We're not going to sell my soul for, I don't know, some money, some of this, some of that, whatever. And it's like, well, no, actually, that does happen. So Disney allow access under very, very strict circumstances. Very, very strict circumstances. So they'll send screeners only if you promise not to talk about leaks, if you promise not to talk about this, and also if you do give good reviews. Now, that's a fact. You can try and dispute it all you want, and there'll be some shill media that will come out and say, no, that's not true. But that is a fact. That is actually what they do. So, yeah, these plebs, give it an 83% average rating. Yeah, I can believe that. So the Hollywood Reporter dubbed the first 2 episodes a rather successful, promising start. Well, I bet you would. You'll get that Amazon money. The score comes a couple of weeks after Marvel's She-Hulk was declared review bombed on the site. Wasn't review bombed, it's just bad. With 88% critic score and an initial 36% audience score. How the Rings of Power is doing on Amazon's own user review ecosystem is not yet clear because the company has taken the unusual step of suspending user ratings for the show. An Amazon source says reviews are being held 72 hours to help weed out trolls and to ensure each review is legitimate. The source later claimed Prime Video started the policy this summer on all its shows. Review bombing is when a group of online users post numerous negative reviews for a product or service due to its perceived cultural or political issues rather than its actual quality. Well, so there's a few things to consider there. One, that's just an inbuilt reason how any of these companies can go, it's review bomb now. Because if you're going to inject your cultural and political issues in, bearing in mind Tolkien, right? And this is what's also important about Tolkien. Tolkien has out and out stated, had obviously dead, out and out stated that any allegory in his work is purely coincidental. He hates allegories. So when you've got companies actually injecting cultural or political issues, then that does actually become something which you can discuss. You can say, well, no, Tolkien didn't want that. So, yeah, ridiculous. There are some 1-star entries that meet the definition. They wanted to involve such an important work with current politics, and they have succeeded. How's that? That's not review bombing. Nobody has a problem with seeing people of colour in movies, series, or stories, but the story was already written and should not have been sullied. Reflecting world diversity in Middle-earth is an odd goal, albeit good for marketing maybe, but it was clearly more important than making a functional TV series. That's a perfectly legitimate comment. That's a perfectly legitimate comment. Because if most people have been coming out and doing the rounds talking about their diversity, which they have done, rather than the story at hand, it literally primed in most audience members' eyes who read this stuff is, well, they clearly cared about the diversity more than the story, because I'm watching the story and the story's garbage. But the majority of the negative reviews, whatever the writer's private feelings, criticised the show for non-diversity reasons. There you go. They spent $1 billion on backdrops and a film score. The rest is slow-moving wooden acting, and there is no reason to actually like the main characters. There is no soul to any of it. Now, this is, again, what is baffling to me what Amazon did here. So the showrunners for the show have literally no credits. They have, like, no credits. Yeah, we'll give the most expensive TV series to amateurs. Rank amateurs. And those that disagree with that statement, well, have you watched Rings of Power? There was one aspect even the show's biggest haters seem to agree on. The Rings of Power looked amazing. It does. It does look good. You can't argue with that, but it's just portrayed terribly. Stunningly beautiful world, wrote the reviewer. Sadly, it was bored out my mind. But also, you just have a really terrible terrible cast. Like, Morford Clark's a good actor, but just terrible in this. Terrible. So yeah, 36% Rotten Tomatoes is now 35. Oh, that's She-Hulk, sorry. All of this stuff, it saddens me that this is the approach that we've got to media now, is that you need to just be, you've got to be careful. You can't give your actual thoughts because you get given, told you're a hater or a troll. It's just nonsense. Utter nonsense. It's alright. I say tell me what you think, but I know what you think. What a bunch of garbage. Ah, it's just such a shame.